Good afternoon, Annanya. Thank you very much for joining us today and agreeing to talk a little bit about yourself and your experience with CES. So just before we get started, just so all the viewers are aware, when was it that you were diagnosed with CES?
Thank you for having me, James, and kind of encouraging me to do this to start with. First thing, I was diagnosed with this without any prior notice was in July 2019. So it just came off nowhere. So yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. And again, like you say, thanks for coming on and actually agreeing to speak up. I know it can be challenging at times. So just so everyone gets a bit of a feel for where you're at the moment and previously, what would you say was and perhaps still is your worst affected area, Annanya? So maybe your bladder, bowel, sexual function, mobility. Which area do you feel is probably the most affected there and impacted?
I think I have the entire package, I should say, for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I have the bladder and bowel issues. It started with incontinence and then has gone into retention for the bladder. The bowel plays up no matter what I do. And most of the times I have to take morphine, which means it messes up further. So I wish there was something magical out there that could resolve the issues, even though if you can take morphine and get on with it.
Yes.
Sexual orientation, I don't think I've talked to even my psychologist because I don't feel comfortable, but I think I'm going to do it now because there are a lot of people in my boat, I think, that might be in this and not comfortable talking. I really am grateful to my husband to still be with me because it's not easy. It's been 2.5 years now, 2 and more years. So that's affected us not just physically as a unit, but psychologically as well.
Of course.
Mobility. I have a bad right leg, but the foot part of it is very sensitive. So that means even if I try to walk without crutches, it just throws me off balance. So I do try and make an effort sometimes, but then where I can see there's a wall I can hold on to, I brave myself. I know that's not braving, but where I am standing, it's braving for me.
Yes.
Because I think crutches has become like a third limb for me.
Yeah.
And psychological help. I don't usually talk everything that I'm supposed to talk to the psychologist because I think I'm so used to putting this persona that I'm a very strong person that I get lost in the drift and I talk about everything else apart from what I feel and what my health is.
Yes.
And I've had a psychologist from a hospital and she always kept saying to me I'm very strong, which kind of made me think, oh, okay, maybe she thinks I don't need the support. But I would have rather had somebody that would have been able to make me come out of things that I want to say about me and how my health is, rather than saying I'm very strong and it's kind of making me think, oh, I need to be strong. This is my mindset at the moment. So yeah, I think that's why I'm finding it hard to kind of recover, and the progress I want to do is a bit slower than somebody else. I don't know how others are, but I wish I could control those things and I could be able to recover a bit faster, maybe.
Yes. I mean, there's obviously quite a mix there, isn't there, going on, and how you feel. I mean, in terms of the recovery, I wouldn't, don't put that strain on yourself. I'm sure people have said before that there is no set rule book for CES.
I know.
We'd love to be handed a rule book and everything's black and white, but sadly not. But don't give up hope. And I know it's a difficult one. It's a catch-22 because you want to put across this strong persona, don't you? For your family and your friends. But I think you almost want to show that weakness as well. That actually, you have those really bad days, and you're not that superstar or superwoman that perhaps family believe you are. But it sounds like you've got obviously quite a lot of like you say, impacted areas still to the day. You are coping, so you've got, as you said to me, your crutches, Do you use a wheelchair or mobility scooter?
I use a Zimmer frame in the house, and I use wheelchair when I go out because I can't walk more than, I say more than 10 meters, that's what they've measured, but that 10 meters is not at a stretch as well, which I try to work on, but since my third surgery on my cervical spine, for some reason the foot has gone even further mental. And it doesn't even like, even if I'm sleeping, I have to be with sock 24/7, even if it's hot boiling outside in summer, I have to be with a sock, because if not, it just gives sparks on my foot. I'm sure there are a lot of people in our group that have to go through that, and you don't know what to do. It just shakes involuntarily. I can't even control it. Something that I want to show, I've not seen on our group.
Oh, okay.
This is to put my foot in and strap it in so tight that it doesn't move.
Oh wow! Okay, so that it's like almost like a brace. Is that like a foot
brace?
It's
like an AFO, but it's like a fabric one, which is very soft. Because my foot is so sensitive, they've given me this. Like, even if you go next to my foot like that, it'll start buzzing.
Wow. Okay.
You don't even have to touch it. Yeah. And I don't know what that is. I laugh at it sometimes because there's nothing else I can do. But that really helps. If somebody else is in my shoes, ask for this soft cushion AFO. That really, my husband literally ties it out really tight to my leg, and he literally sits on my leg, sometimes on my foot. So that it stops moving. Yeah, I'm sure there are people that have done that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean that sounds brilliant. So thank you for sharing that one, actually, Annanya, because I'm sure a lot of people watching, again, may have not seen that. No. And where did you get that from? Was that actually prescribed, or did you have to pay for that?
Yes, it was prescribed by I think it was prescribed by one of the health workers. He did not work with me as a physio, but he was, sorry about that. He didn't work as a physio with me, but he was excellent in the guidance and support he gave me with regards to these things and what he said to us, because he said literally tight up really tight around your foot when it's in agony.
Yes.
And literally apply pressure on it, because it will not tolerate in the beginning, but it'll eventually try and ease the crazy sensitiveness that you've got. So that's what we do now, because there's no other way out.
Yeah. But you've noticed the improvements. It's been of benefit to you.
So when it goes haywire, my foot, and starts getting really sensitive, when we do that, then it stops for not stops, but it reduces to a manageable extent.
Okay.
And then I can actually can tolerate it, because there's a level we can tolerate now. And then it goes beyond that, where I feel like my foot is going to break off. It's weird. I'm sure I've seen videos of people. I've never recorded one because I'm not in the shape to record at that time, because I'm screaming all the time. But it is very painful. And when your ankle is doing that on a very high speed, then you think, is it going to break off now? That's the last thing I want. So yeah, apply pressure is what I was told. And that's what we do to kind of ease the pressure and the pain of it, and to get it to stop.
Oh no, great. And I'm pleased that's given you a little bit of, a little bit of support, which is.
So I'm really grateful that health worker, because I wouldn't have known.
That sounds fantastic. So yeah, thank you for sharing those areas with us, Annanya. Now, what I'd like to touch on next is just, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your experience following, your surgery there and your release from the hospital. In terms of your ongoing support. So that would be with your physios, your GPs, neurosurgeons, bladder and bowel continence nurses, anything like that. So what was your experience like, and the support you had?
I don't want to sound negative, but then I want this to be taken in a positive way, because as many of us are new to CES, or not have had this condition before, or not a frequent hospital visitors, would not know this. I didn't know that you can get occupational health support when you come out of such surgeries, or I didn't know much about physios that you can get immediate support, or you should get immediate support. So when I'm saying you should, that means I've not got any of these in time. Which unfortunately caused me more problems on my spine. So with occupational therapy, I didn't know when my first surgery happened, and the second time when my wound reopened, somebody said to me, ask for occupational health because it's gone wrong somewhere and your wound is opened, so they should assess your home.
Yeah.
So I asked the hospital in question, and the blatant answer I was given after 13 days being in a crazy state that, oh, we don't do occupational therapy and you're in a different county, so we don't provide that care. And I'm like, okay, and I didn't know. So people shouldn't have to join groups like ours, Quarter Equina, to be able to get these support. We should kind of encourage the hospital, I think, to have a plan for any, not just our surgicals, but any kind of surgery that a patient not always knows what they need.
Mm.
So psychological support wasn't offered. That's the other thing. I ended up being in pants and did silly things that I shouldn't have. And I'm glad it didn't go through because I would have regretted, my family would have regretted, but
yeah,
the impact that it has on people's lives is not great. And luckily my husband's work, somebody said to him, oh, our company offers for family as well. And I got counseling through them, counseling in the sense that I could just talk what I'm feeling, and they were really great at listening.
Car. So that, I mean, I guess for you, that was almost like a lifeline, wasn't it? Really having that extra
support. It was before, because I don't want to spell it out, but I fell down basically on the emotional ladder.
Of course.
And my husband freaked out when he found out what I did, and then he spoke to one of his colleagues, I guess, and they told us this, and I think it kind of didn't ease the pain straight away, but I think you need to. Sometimes that should be offered to us in the hospital.
Yes.
Because it's completely different, isn't it? It changes your life so drastically that one day you're walking, running, dancing, doing whatever you want, to another day when you see yourself as a non-useful commodity in the house.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel, and it wasn't easy. So that support from his work was precious for me.
But that again, if you didn't have the support there of your husband, if you were trying to do this alone, like you say, that wasn't offered, was it, at the time? Nothing like that at all. So
no, my GP also at the time, my GP was on maternity. My own GP was assigned to me, so I had to deal with someone else in the practice, and they literally had no understanding of Quarter Equina. So I'm guessing the lack of awareness, understanding of the syndrome is also not helping, because I have a right side of my foot, which is my right leg, which is the bad side.
Yes.
The foot, like that's the thigh is swollen to an extent, and they still don't have any answers for it for me. So that doesn't help us in any ways, because if I go out, I look abnormal, because if I try to walk as well, it looks quite weird. So it knocks off your confidence in that way. Or now, for example, I have acid reflux because of the medications that we have to have. And they say to me, oh, you're complex. So although I've been suffering for a good few months now, I haven't called the GP.
Right.
Because I just don't feel comfortable.
Is that from your, like I say, your previous experience with them? They've not been a great support. You just sort of feel like you've lack a bit of confidence there now.
Yes, and I think everything is spread in different dots, rather than being under one roof where I know, say for example, I know I could come to James and he will assign, say, Sarah, Donna, whatever, under his team to look after each discipline for me. But here I'm dealing with three different counties in hospitals and my GP. So everybody tries to pass their buck on. And I'm just thinking, it's not helping me, because I don't really have that will or the energy to go out asking for help constantly.
To find yourself.
I feel like you might be thinking, why is she whinging so much?
Yeah.
It's not by choice, but it's just, so I've literally stopped calling everyone and just think, let's see what life brings next.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely a hard outlook, isn't it? It's a difficult outlook following that pathway for sure. I mean, you know, I think very brave for what you're doing and carrying on. I appreciate, like you say, you just touched on it earlier. You had some really dark spells, and you know, wouldn't expect you to go into any more detail, but I think, you know, the viewers will get an idea for what that was. And, you know, bravery for you to where you are now. I mean, you know, you've got that great support at home, you know, and keep going with that. You know, if that counselling clearly helped for you, which was absolutely brilliant. You're finding, sadly, you are finding your own ways of adapting to the new way of life. But, you know, it sounds like some of it's slowly piecing together. Is just trying to find that ongoing care, especially for your pain relief, isn't it? Because that's causing you quite a few issues, especially with the
physio wasn't offered as well. I remember the 4 appointments I did for physio at the local unit, literally wrote, nothing else. Eventually from CES, I got a guide to another hospital which does like in-house rehab for us. And that was the only place that I got rehab, but then it failed me on the bladder bowel side or the psychological side. So I guess we can't expect to get all the support, but I think I would like for anybody in the future to get that, because it's not fair, because you're dealing with a lot, with a change within yourselves and your family. And the last thing you want is to go hunting for people, searching to see who can help you.
Of course. I mean,
I think this is my humble request rather than an expectancy.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, thank you for sort of raising that, actually, because that was going to sort of lead on to my next question, which you've covered, you know, some of that already, actually. And it would be, if you were to, you know, turn back the clock, you know, for yourself in terms of your aftercare and ongoing support, but also for future patients, you know, that will be watching this. You know, what do you think, what advice could you give, or what plea would you like to give, you know, for any possible changes that, you know, people don't have maybe the same dark pathway that you've been on yourself?
As you and the charity is doing quite a good thing, this awareness will bring light to our syndrome, but then I think many other disciplines as well, and for patients to understand that do not leave the hospital without you getting help or aligned help, because I did that mistake. Please don't do it. I was thinking ahead. Even my recent surgery, I thought, if I empty the bed, somebody else will get it, because I waited for the bed for the whole day. And I'm not regretting leaving the bed, because somebody that occupied my bed had a 14-hour surgery after me. So I'm not regretting that. But then maybe is the load that they're going through, the workload at NHS, they're finding it difficult to keep in loops with people. And sometimes we, as colorectal especially, we are traveling to different counties to get surgeries, because probably our county doesn't have that facilities in their area. So that makes it even harder, because at times the communication breaks. So make sure it's hard, but insist and take support in writing. Do not leave the hospital till you get your main things, your physio. If it's affected your mobility, don't forget to take your occupational therapy referrals with you, your psychological support. If you think, you know, not if I think you will need it, because I thought I'd be fine and I wasn't. So that was a learning curve for me as well. And as a charity, we can approach NHS as a whole institution and say, right, this is what colorectal is. We'd like more awareness within the NHS as well. And we'd like more constructed support to us, rather than being told you will get physio, occupational therapist, anything else that we need, you will get. No, please tell me where I will get that, so I know who to contact and when to contact and what is expected of me when I'm discharged from the hospital. My last example, which is recent now, with my cervical spine, I was asked by the physio what exercise I should be doing. And I'm like, I don't really know, because I'm not a physio.
Wow, okay. I mean, that's quite shocking.
They literally sent me back saying, oh, we'll have to contact your surgeon and then get back to you, which they haven't done yet. My surgery happened in July, again, on the 23rd. And I'm still waiting. So it hasn't changed the picture massively. But yes, occupational therapist is very important, because someone like me, who has a walking disability, struggles to go upstairs, and I ended up sleeping on the sofa. I think that is the cause for my cervical, because of the imbalance of your sitting or your sleeping posture. So that could cause more complications in the future. I've gone through it. Don't go through it. That's what I will say. Please don't.
No, and I mean, that's, yeah, thank you so much, Annanya. I mean, those, yeah, points at the end, you know, really powerful, and particularly that, you know, like you've said about the sofa, you put up with things, don't you, straight away, you put up with things, you think for the easier life. I know, you know, lots of people that have done the same, but
yes,
actually, is it then going to cause you more problems, you know, if you had that additional support that might look at making things more comfortable around your house? You know, you may have not needed to do that. So, but no, thank you. I think there's some really powerful points, and you know, I hope that many people watching this will definitely see some benefits from that, you know, with that being patients and healthcare professionals. So I mean, that's the sort of the questions covered that we would like to discuss with you today. But, you know, whilst you are on here, Annanya, is there anything that, you know, or any last words that perhaps you would like to share with everyone today?
I would just say it's hard, because I don't find being strong, when people say that to me, that helps me. So be honest to yourself, and that applies for me as well. Be honest to yourself. And I know I haven't, James, you guys have seen me last time I was in tithers, so, but I've cried my share in the night and the morning today, so to make sure I'm dry this session and I'm not crying and choking. But I think your family support is also very crucial, and I have a great family with my husband and my 9-year-old daughter. Even if I cry or scream, my daughter has matured since she was 7. She's seen me this way. I think they don't have to see you that way. It's not fair on your families. So seek the right support, and, you know, let's work together with the group and with the charity, and bring change for ourselves, not for anybody else. I think it's a change that we need for us and for anybody that's going to suffer unfortunately in the future. So let's do this together.
No, brilliant. And so, yeah, some really encouraging words there, words of wisdom. So thank you so much, Annanya, and, you know, thank you on behalf of the charity as well. You know, you've done an excellent job today, and very brave. I appreciate, you know, I know we've spoken before, I appreciate the pain you are in, you know, every single day. So just speaking out today, I appreciate it may have been a bit of a struggle for you. So we really thank you.
I think, can I stop you and say thank you to you, James, because many people don't know James is excellent at comforting people.
Oh.
To make you more a bit like, I don't know, the last time I was stuttering and couldn't get the right words out, isn't it? I wrote myself a few things on the phone today to write down the pointers, what I should say, rather than rambling on silly things. But you are really amazing when you speak to us, and someone else that you know spoke to me earlier said the same thing about you. So it's not just my opinion, it's you're doing a great job. And
thank you.
If me or anybody else, we can be of any support, please give us a shout. And, you know, thank you for my first ever kind of public appearance talking about this, which I haven't even talked to my psychologist about. So I think, yeah, thanks to you, I think, James.
Oh,
really appreciate your help.
It's my pleasure. And thank you so much for taking the time again today, Annanya. We really appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.